Whilst there were many powerful Jedi and Sith to set foot in the galaxy, all of them paled in comparison to Force wielders, who were entities of the Force. One such family of Force wielders were known as the Ones, who resided on the planet of Mortis, and throughout many years they had an internal struggle to maintain balance in the Force. When the father realised that his death was approaching, he called upon the services of those outside of the planet, namely the Jedi of Anakin Skywalker, who he knew to be the Chosen One. But with his intervention, all three Force wielders failed to bring balance, and the planet was resigned to history. The Jedi padawan Ezra Bridger would later discover a mural depicting the gods at the Jedi Temple in Lothal, unlocking the path to the world between worlds. But when the portal was sealed, the only known trace of the Force wielders was the convor Morai. But what if the Mortis Gods had escaped their planet? Could they be stopped by the Jedi or Sith? As you're about to discover, the release of these Force entities is about to cause havoc in the galaxy. Almost 1,000 years after the formation of the New Galactic Republic, the father stood alone atop of the monastery on Mortis, worried about his gradually waning powers. As he walked to one of the sleeping chambers, he felt a rumbling beneath his feet and a shift in the Force, and he realised that the prophecy of the Chosen One would finally be fulfilled, and they would restore the balance of the Force in his place. But unfortunately for the father, it seemed the son had arrived at the same conclusion, as he heard a commotion outside and he tried to stop him from leaving the planet. The words of the father fell upon deaf ears, and the son used the Force to draw in a ship from outside of the planet's orbit, and left the planet for the first time. The father realised that the son could cause utter devastation if he were not stopped, and the daughter decided that she must try and stop him, as the father went to retrieve the dagger from the altar. Once they had all made their way into the galaxy, their existence is felt by everyone, most of all the Jedi Council, and like the father, Yoda senses the presence of the Chosen One. Above the planet of Tatooine, the son had beaten the daughter in a race to find Anakin Skywalker, and changing into the form of Shmi Skywalker, he incapacitated the real mother before luring Anakin into the sands. As he is about to take a passing speeder, he is attacked from behind by the daughter, who unleashed a whirlwind of sand. The son retaliated with a lightning attack, and as the children deflected each other with the Force, the settlement of Mos Espa started to fall apart. The young Anakin ran back to find Shmi, but before he could go to the remains of his home, he is picked up by a mysterious Zabrak on a speeder, and they manage to move to the relative safety of a Sith infiltrator. When the son and daughter are stopped by the arriving father, they realise that they let Anakin slip from their grasp and leap away in pursuit of the Sith. Just after they departed, the broken starship of Queen Amidala arrived on the planet, and when they make their landing, Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan can sense great destruction and pain across the terrain. The two Jedi order for the others to remain behind, whilst they investigated what had just happened, and as they approached what had previously been Mos Espa, they find a ghost town crawling with wounded and dead civilians. One of those that drew the attention of the Jedi was Shmi Skywalker, and the Jedi could sense that a powerful Force sensitive had recently departed the scene. Leaving the Queen's crew to scavenge for parts, the two Jedi ran to the demolished spaceport and found a tattered freighter to pursue what they now knew to be a Zabrak. The Force wielders were so powerful that they left a trail which the Jedi could follow, all the way to the planet of Dathomir, where Anakin was about to be under the control of Talzin. But even before they could descend upon the Well of Darkness, Qui-Gon stopped the freighter, and they watch in amazement as the planet's magical energy turns the red surface into a green haze, before breaking into small segments. As the Jedi realised that they were in range of danger, their father teleported into view and channeled his energy into a roar that stopped the children from attacking each other and the Night Sister clan. Once again, the Mortis Gods had caused destruction, and the entire planet was obliterated apart from the young Anakin. The father destructed the power-hungry son to leave the Jedi ample time to retrieve the Chosen One and take him to the Jedi Temple. The Jedi Council was still shaken from the emergence of the gods, and having been convinced by Yoda that the key to the prophecy was Anakin, they promoted Obi-Wan to the rank of a Jedi Knight, which allowed Qui-Gon to train Anakin. Across the city, the newly appointed Supreme Chancellor Palpatine was seething at the loss of Maul, and having heard the account of the Jedi, his priority was to get these Force entities on his side. As Palpatine gazed out into the fading light of Coruscant's skyline, he could feel the presence of Jedi Master Dooku entering into his office and take a seat at his desk. After the unfortunate demise of Maul, the Sith Lord had been working on manipulating the disgruntled Jedi Master to the dark side of the Force, but now these Force wielders made him reconsider his plans to get hold of the Chosen One. As they are about to leave for their secret hangar, their son suddenly teleported beside the desk of the Chancellor, and Dooku instinctively ignited his blade. His new master ordered him to not attack the Darkseid wielder, and together, the son and Sidious discussed their plans to defeat all light in the galaxy. Sidious felt like the apprentice for the first time since his training under Plagueis, but he was not willing to allow the son to take over, as he heard about the dagger of Mortis and possession of the father. The first task for the 3 Darkseid users would be to turn more young Force sensitives to the dark side, as their eventual clone war would be a mere distraction. Across the city in the Jedi Temple, Yoda and Mace Windu were equally concerned by the destruction of Mos Espa and Dathomir, when the daughter serenely entered into the quarters of the Master of the Order and warned the Jedi that the son was about to make an attack on one of their off-world training posts. The Jedi were aware that they could not match the power of the son without the help of the daughter, and she ordered them to mobilize their forces while she distracted the son. Although the Jedi were still recovering from the defense of the Trade Federation's attack on Naboo, they had Jedi to spare, and the most senior council members waited in the battle control center to wait for any movements. As night turned into day, the Jedi received a distress signal from the Temple of Edith on Devaron and take their mismatched starfighters to the colonies. On their approach to the planet, the Jedi can feel the Force energy emitted from the Force wielders as they launched asteroids at each other, and Plo Koon guided the Jedi through the moving debris to counter the attack on the temple. On the ground, the newly updated version of the Trade Federation's droid army was waiting for the Jedi, and fired at the descending starships as they found various openings in the densely packed forests. Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan led one of the groups of Jedi as they finally found the new Sith Count Dooku, and the Jedi ordered for their fallen master to lay down his weapon and prevent any further bloodshed. The Sith was past any kind of redemption, and igniting his blade, he was determined to complete his transformation to the dark side by eliminating his old padawan. As Qui-Gon, Obi-Wan and Dooku dueled, Sidious was lurking in the shadows, watching the Jedi being slowly drawn away from the foundations of the Jedi Temple, and he snuck into the courtyard undetected. Placing his hood over his head, the Sith Lord took the Force-sensitive children away into his ship, and from the skies, he ordered for the droids to retreat back into the Trade Federation's landing crafts. Yoda immediately sensed something was amiss, and he leapt into his personal starfighter to pursue the Force-sensitive children, but Sidious had evaded his grasp. The Sith Lord reunited with the Son back on Coruscant, and once the children were around them, the Son imbued them with the dark side. The rising darkness was felt by the Jedi upon their own return to Coruscant, and Yoda gathers the council to examine the footage of the deception. The Sith Lord moved in a blur on the surveillance cameras, and something about him felt strangely familiar, but the emergence of the Sith was in the hands of the gods. The ethereal figure of the daughter soon appeared in the centre of the room, and asked for the Jedi to try and reach the father to take the dagger of Mortis, and the council meditated together in the hope the Force could guide them to his location. Only Yoda was given any indication of where the father could be, and once more he left the comfort of Coruscant to head to the centre of the galaxy when a bright light froze the Grand Master. Yoda conceded himself to the Force as he descended through the atmosphere, and when he awoke, he found himself surrounded by colourful foliage, all of which embodied the Force. Above the Grand Master, the hovering forms of the Father and the Force priestesses carried him, and agreed to give the dagger if he could show that he was worthy. Yoda was determined to save the Jedi and defeat the Sith, and as time outside of the realm accelerated, Yoda would eventually finish the trials and claim the dagger of Mortis for the Jedi Order. Once he found himself back in his starfighter, Yoda tried to use the transmission code to contact the Jedi Council, but he found that it had been changed, and the Grand Master now felt that the galaxy was now at war. As he flew towards the core worlds, he emerged from a hyperspace lane into the middle of a brutal battle, and he could feel both the Jedi and the dark side. The voice of Admiral Yularen suddenly intruded his thoughts as he ordered for the ship to leave Republic airspace, but the Grand Master calmly revealed that he had arrived to talk to Anakin Skywalker. The Jedi Knight is shocked to hear the voice of Yoda, whilst most of the Order believed him to be missing after his mission from the daughter. The Jedi was horrified by the violence, as Anakin and Obi-Wan updated the Grand Master on events since his departure. Although Yoda felt an urge to save all of the Jedi, he realised that he needed to be patient, but that idea was soon shaken by an assault on the fleet. The Son had discovered that Yoda now wielded the dagger of Mortis, and the Grand Master knew that he had to get away from the conflict. Ordering Obi-Wan to create a diversion, the Jedi Master deployed a clone squadron to attack the Separatist fleet, allowing for Anakin to fly the Grand Master without being hit. Yoda instructed the Jedi Knight to travel to Dagobah, where he hoped the dark side would be able to shield his presence, but the Son would not be deceived so easily, as he teleported in front of the Jedi before they could descend through the atmosphere of the planet. The Son offered Anakin the chance to know the identity of the Sith Lord in return for the dagger and Anakin's abilities, and Yoda knew that Anakin was about to show he was the chosen one. As Anakin reluctantly accepted the offer, Yoda was unsure of what he had in mind as he took control of the starfighter when he heard the voice of the Father asking him to trust in the Force and to return to Coruscant. Yoda was quick to return to the home of the Jedi, but the once towering galactic city had been ruined by the Son and his battles with the Jedi and the daughter. Entering the battle-scarred Jedi Temple, he noticed the solitary Jedi Master Qui-Gon Jinn. Qui-Gon had also been communicating with the Father, and he told the Jedi to follow his padawan. With the aid of the Grand Master, the two Jedi intensified their Force senses and fight an enormous darkness emanating from one of the standing buildings. The Jedi did not hesitate to jump into the closest speeders, then dash off to the Republic Executive Building when they felt a rumbling occurring beneath their feet. The ground was starting to divide into multiple segments, and from one of the windows of the building, the sun's dark side energy was bursting through the surface of the planet. Yoda and Qui-Gon battled through the darkness until they were at the same level as the Chancellor's office, where they saw the most startling sight. Anakin had just betrayed the Son by killing him with the dagger of Mortis, and was ordering the Chancellor to bow before him. Yoda could feel the darkness of the Son now imbued within Anakin, and he urgently summoned the daughter through the Force. The floating form of the daughter rapidly surged into action as she resisted the attacks of Anakin, but soon realised that she was facing the Son again. Moving in between Anakin and Sidious, the daughter sacrificed herself as the blue blade of Anakin went through her torso, as well as that of the Chancellor, returning Anakin to the light. The Jedi Knight had showed that he was indeed the chosen one, but the Father returned to Mortis, now reduced to a life in solitude. That is it for What If the Mortis Gods Escaped. If you enjoyed this What If, please like this video, turn on the notification bell, click that subscribe button on this channel, as well as on my other channel What If Films. And as always, leave a comment on what if you'd all like to see next, and how I can improve my videos. Thank you all very much for watching, and see you next time.